There's dripping varnish in my garage. I had to drain it. Old mate neglected to drain that fuel since 2001. I think I might go and use it to stain my deck. Okay, we're in my trusty Ford Ute, and I can't get a Jaguar yet. Mind you, when this thing was new, 2007, Ford owned Jaguar, so it's the closest thing I can get to a Jaguar Ute, I guess. And we're off to Port Stephens to pick up another Jaguar. Yep, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, this thing I bought last year, and lucky old mate was able to keep it at his place for me because I didn't have storage. But now he's sold, so we're going to pick it up. We've got the trailer on the back, and it's another Series 1, and it doesn't go. It's been sitting in a shed for 20 odd years or something, and again we bought it sight unseen. But I've had a lot of pictures to look at. I'm hoping it's going to be not a bad buy. So we'll get there, we'll be there very shortly, and then I'll fire up the camera again and we can have a look at the car. She is, she's on the trailer. We've got all the information the old mate's given me for it. He's owned it since, how long you owned it for, Ron? 20 odd years, but she's been in a nice warm undercover garage, so she's pretty much rot free except for the beaver panel. It's got a new beaver panel. She's a bit colourful at the moment with some different colours on it. She's canary yellow, but she's a rare beast. It's VIN number, car number 615. And considering they made nearly 90,000 of these Series 1s, number 615, it's an early one. It's one of the early cars. So we'll get it home and just go through it, and we'll catch you soon. Okay, we're rolling, John. When you get in, you go steer it. Come here. Yeah, full lock. Just follow me in, and I'll just keep an eye on this thing. Is there brakes on this or not? No, wait, I'm stopping down. No, hand brakes. I'll just go in. Oh, you'll be right. Well, here she is. She's in the garage, thanks to a little bit of help from my nephew John, and Ken over here was a great help too. So we're just going to have a little walk around this car and really see what we've got here. I bought this old girl 6 months ago from a mate, Ronnie, who I also bought another car from him in 2017. I bought Anna, my XJ6, my gorgeous silver sand XJ6. And he messaged me one day and said, do you want to buy my Series 1 XJ6? I said, I didn't know you had one. He said, oh, it's in my other garage. I said, why didn't you tell me? And he said, I didn't think about it. So I said, yeah, show me some photos. And that's all he sent me, some photos from 20 years ago. He said he's owned it since 1995 and it's been off the road since 2001. However, he said it's got a brand new engine in it, everything. New pistons, bearings, rods, head done. Well, it doesn't look like it there. This bonnet's been off this car for 20 years sitting in a garage. And I have all the receipts for that, so hopefully it's only done a couple of thousand Ks since it went off the road. And it's got this pretty schmick interior. The seats have all been redone, and they're looking pretty good. Being an early model, they don't have the headrests. Chrome dials showing an early XJ6. All the dash and timber's lovely on it. Pretty groovy. 4-speaker little, I've never seen one of them before, but I love it. How gorgeous is that thing for front and rear speakers? And it also has original integrated air conditioning, and it's all intact. The condenser and the dryer are missing, but they're sort of replacement items anyway. Timber's lovely on it, needs a good clean. Dash pad, no cracks. Door cards, they're not new, but they're in good condition. Carpet looks pretty tidy, needs a good clean. As I said, this thing's been sitting in the garage for 20 years. Get out there, but look at this. I love this bit. I don't know how many miles this thing has done. It's done 36,000 miles. I'm thinking it's about 136,000 miles. But not a lot of wear on that brake pedal, but look, there's no movement, there's no wear in those doors whatsoever. This thing's a very unused car. Old mate Ron is gunner. They stripped it because they were going to repaint it in this sapphire blue colour, which I'm really glad that didn't happen. And it was going to have a black vinyl roof, that's why it's got the grey on the top. It's pretty much rot free. There's a little couple of bits here and there on it, but mate, for its age, it's pretty schmick. As I said, I bought this thing 6 months ago. The first time I was able to pick it up. And it was always bugging me how it was yellow, and old mate Ron was telling me it was original British Racing Green, but it's been resprayed. So when I get to the car today, I'm looking for evidence of British Racing Green, British Racing Green. I'm looking under the seats and the boot, which I now can't open because the lock's missing. There's no evidence whatsoever. And I've been around these things for a long time. That this thing was ever British Racing Green. I'm only showing you the engine bay, but that's pretty much a good example. Everything would have had to be stripped out of this thing to every nut and bolt. So I did a bit more research on it, and I didn't pay a lot of money for this thing. I paid as much as the value of the interior. Didn't do his total due diligence on looking at compliance numbers. He did send me a photo of this compliance plate, and I was looking at the figures there, but I never got a photo of the body number there. And believe it or not, this body number here on this compliance plate does not match that body number there. What's going on? This one here, 10615BW. This one here, 1L, okay, 54410DN. The DN, that means it's a manual, originally a manual car, and this is now an automatic. And that 5 means it's a left-hand drive car. Really? It's getting more interesting. I ordered a heritage certificate from the Jaguar to Daimler Heritage Trust a few months ago on this thing because it was body number 10615. That means it was the 615th car off the production line of nearly 90-odd thousand. I thought that was really a unique car. However, when I got that heritage certificate, it says this thing was British Racing Green. And I've been looking all over this thing for British Racing Green, and there's no British Racing Green on this car whatsoever. So I'm figure this is two cars made out of one. Really? Siamese twins. That can't be a bad thing. Fortunately, our mate Ron was good with his paperwork. Still has the original handbook and service book on it. But I've gone through that, and that's the body number for the British Racing Green version. And there's a stack of receipts here for all his work done on it. So it's got a good history. I can go through the mileage, and that's why I'm guessing it's only 136,000 miles. So we've got a good history, and we've got a car that doesn't have any rust in it, or little bits of rust. It's got a little bit in the beaver panel. I'm told it goes, even though it hasn't gone for 20 years, but we can work on that. We saw the fuel earlier. We can work on that. So another little project, and old Reddy's up there. She hasn't got a name yet. I haven't given it a name yet until it gets it started. But we went under that. We saw all that. We're still going to do a little bit more work on that. I'm just a bit short on garage space at the moment, so she's going to sit up there for a little while. But we'll play with Miss Canary Yellow for a little bit. I want to get it started and get those brakes going, and then maybe get a roadworthy on it. And these gorgeous spoked chromies, aren't they a treat? They should clean up all right. Probably won't. Unfortunately, they're 14-inch. Don't you hate that when people put 14-inch wheels on a car that's supposed to have 15-inch? And being a left-hand drive car originally, my old mate John, nephew, pointed out something that I wouldn't have looked at. This glass identification here is normally on Australian motor vehicles down here, or everyone he's seen is down here. So these ones are up in this corner here, and it's not a glass company that I know of. Anyone might better blip the comments down there and give me some more information on that. But I wouldn't have known that unless John pointed it out. So we know this body didn't come from AU. Well, a little bit disappointed that it's not an early production car. I'm now super intrigued of its history and why was it rebirthed? We know it's legally rebirthed because it's all the rego papers have got the stamped body number on it. So that's a good thing, means I can get it re-registered again. But tell me why. Never seen anything like this before. Well, I'm only human. A bloke can't do everything at once. So Mr. Red's going to stay up there for a little bit. I haven't really named her yet. I'm just calling Mr. Red at the moment, because we're going to be play with Siamese Twins Yellow. Well, just for a battery in it, I'm not going to start it. Just see what sort of power we got. Oh, it clicks. So, turn the lights on. Do we have the windows work? That's pretty groovy. How good are those switches? I just can't get over how good those switches are. They're better than those shitty ones on Series 2. Those Lucas ones that crap out all the time. These don't, and they're just so retro. Don't you just love those chrome dials? Aren't they just really, really pretty? They stopped them in 1970. That's another thing that's a bit strange about this thing. This is 1270. And I didn't think they had chrome dials at 1270. This has got them. But we have no idea this thing was a left-hand drive, so how would you know about anything of this thing? But they're so gorgeous. I'm disappointed they got rid of them. That was all to do with glare in your face. Can't get the clock to work. I sort of would have expected that, but those early Smiths, I thought, kept going on and going on. We might look at that later. I wonder why they took the radio. Doesn't look like there was any special model in there. Well, it's been another busy day, so we're going to conclude this episode. What is it with me and XJ6s, really? I've got this red one up on the 4-poster here that was a 2.8 import. Now it's got a 420G motor in it with gearbox and all this other weird stuff. That was interesting enough. Still, that's going to stay up there for a little bit because old mate Yellow's come along. And I think this thing we'll get this thing started a lot easier. I'm told it's only because of the old fuel which he left in it, which is pretty crook, and it's sticking out my garage, and I'm not real happy about it. I think old mate would have got rid of it before me. He had a lot more yard, he could have killed a few more weeds with it. Anyway, don't worry about that. So we'll finalise it. I've got to head back to Sydney tomorrow. I didn't do anything on this thing today. I can't get into the boot yet because the boot is locked. I've got to try and find that latch somehow, another job. And we'll get, hopefully get the fuel pumps to click. They're not turning on. Do that and come back next week for another episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And it's weird too. Like here we've got a left-hand drive manual car that wasn't sold new in Australia. We know that. We don't know where it came from. Yet it's got an engine and gearbox and everything of a early model XJ6 that was sold new in Australia. A weird car. But it makes interesting for content. If anyone can give me any clues as to what country this car may have come from. It'd have to be a European country, and those window stamps could be a good indicative of where it came from. Anyway, cheers all, and we'll catch you on episode number 2.